Every time that little voice in your head starts whispering excuses, rationalizing your comfort, debating against your own discipline, pulling you back into the version of yourself you promised to outgrow, I want you to stop and think about where you will be in a week, a month, a year if you keep letting that voice win. Because growth doesn't come from motivation. It comes from the moments where you shut that voice down and choose discipline right now. Not later, not tomorrow, right now. The most dangerous habit in the world isn't laziness, it's limited thinking. You paralyze yourself before you even begin. You kill your own potential at the starting line because you spend so much energy convincing yourself you can't, that you don't give yourself the chance to find out if you can. Limited thinking is the silent killer of dreams. It stops more people than failure ever will. And the worst part? You don't even realize you're doing it because you've practiced it for so long that it feels normal. But confidence, the unshakable kind, only comes from stepping outside your comfort zone without guarantees. It doesn't come from approval, affirmation, or certainty. It comes from proving to yourself that you can survive discomfort. And that's why big goals don't motivate most people. They overwhelm them. If your goals are too big and undefined, they don't inspire you. They crush your drive. So you need goals that are clear, measurable, realistic, and aligned with one major mission you're constantly working toward. But before we go deeper, think about this. Go back 10 years. Really do it. Whatever age you are right now, subtract 10. What were you stressed about back then? What kept you up at night? Do you even think about those problems today? Did any of them destroy your life? No. Most of the things that felt like the end of the world weren't even relevant a few years later. That's the proof. You've already survived the storms you swore you couldn't survive. Life will always hand you dragons to slay. And the more dragons you kill, the better you become at killing the next one. The truth is people don't change until the pain of staying the same becomes worse than the pain of change. Life is always a trade, either easy now and hard later, or hard now and easy later. Every important area of your life, your body, your money, your relationships, rewards the ones who choose hard now. Not because pain is good, but because discipline compounds. The universe doesn't bless the comfortable, it blesses the committed. But here's where most people fall apart. They quit right before the breakthrough. They stop climbing when the peak is right above the clouds. They give up seconds before the finish line. Because the hardest thing in the world is to wake up every day, give 100%, and still not see progress immediately. But that grind, that invisible, thankless grind, is the only thing that separates success from regret. You must understand you can't control people. You can't control who shows up, who stays, who supports you, who betrays you, who understands you. People are flawed. Even the ones you idolize. Even the ones you think are perfect. They're human, insecure, biased, ego-driven, short-sighted, inconsistent. Stop expecting people to be the anchor for your growth. You need relationships that nourish you. People who want to see you win. People who inspire your best self. But toxicity, the people who criticize everything you do, who remind you of your past failures, who drain your energy, who keep you tied to who you used to be. Those people are weights around your neck, and you can't fly with weights attached to you. Real strength isn't pretending to be unbreakable. Strength is crying through the day, but finishing the day. Strength is waking up empty, but showing up anyway. Strength is barely holding it together, but still refusing to quit. Hard moments do not equal a hard life unless you let them. Humans who become great are humans who become obsessed. They take one thing and focus on it with a level of intensity that looks insane to average people. They eliminate distractions, toxic environments, scrolling addictions, drama, noise, useless conversations, anything that steals energy. The truth is you're not hungry enough. You want the dream, but you don't want the grind. You want the outcome, but not the obsession. Hunger changes everything. Hunger makes you resourceful, fierce, courageous. Hunger turns average people into legends. And you can't be hungry when you're comfortable. You can't be desperate when you're distracted. You can't be focused when your environment is noisy. Take control. Take control of your day. Take control of your morning. Take control of your routines. Most people wake up reacting to life, checking their phone, drowning in anxiety, scrolling their way into stress. You need to build mornings that build you. You need evenings that restore you. Because habits create identity, and identity creates destiny. And listen carefully. Whatever you do not hate, you will eventually tolerate. A little laziness becomes a lifestyle. A little inconsistency becomes your character. A little lack of awareness becomes an entire year wasted. You slowly settle into a life beneath your potential because you don't allow yourself to feel the full weight of where you are. You numb yourself. You soften the truth. You tell yourself you're fine. But average is the slowest poison in the world. You don't feel it until it's too late. Life is not about waiting for circumstances to be perfect. Life is not about the someday you keep promising yourself. Life changes when you take action. Massive, uncomfortable, imperfect action. Your best future is not built with thoughts or dreams or intentions. It's built with execution. Because ideas without action are hallucinations. And action without consistency is wasted motion. You want success. You want confidence. You want discipline. Then stop lying to yourself. Stop saying tomorrow. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop giving your fears authority. Stop handing your life over to excuses. Everything you want is on the other side of one decision. The decision to take control of your mind. You are the only enemy you need to defeat. The only battle that matters is the one between your old self and your future self. The old you wants comfort. The future you wants freedom. The old you wants short-term pleasure. The future you wants long-term greatness. The old you wants the path of least resistance. The future you wants the path of highest reward. Everything will change the day you decide to stop being loyal to the version of yourself that keeps you stuck. Every breakthrough in your life begins the moment you stop letting your excuses speak louder than your potential, because nothing will change until you make the decision to change, and that decision usually arrives in the dark moments, the moments where your doubt is louder than your hope, where your fear is louder than your ambition, where your disappointment is louder than your dreams, and yet something inside you still whispers, "Try again." That whisper is growth calling you, pulling you toward the version of yourself you keep imagining but haven't fully become yet. You see, the mind will always try to protect you from discomfort, because discomfort feels like danger, but discomfort is the birthplace of every transformation you want. When you step into the river of change, you're stepping away from everything familiar, and your brain hates that. It hates losing control. It hates uncertainty. It hates discipline because discipline means replacing instincts with intention. That's why the moment you stop complaining, stop blaming, stop pointing fingers, and stop giving your power away, your body goes into shock, because it's so used to reacting the same way, thinking the same thoughts, repeating the same emotional patterns that the minute you interrupt the cycle, your old self panics. But this panic is proof that change is happening. Every time you say no more, every time you choose silence over gossip, every time you choose action over excuses, every time you choose discipline over emotion, every time you choose consistency over comfort, you are rewiring your entire identity. That's why you must understand this truth. You cannot become who you want to be while staying who you are. You cannot reach your future while dragging your past. You cannot experience elevation while practicing limitation. What you speak becomes what you attract. What you attract becomes what you believe. What you believe becomes what you act on. And what you act on becomes your destiny. The law of attraction starts with the words you dare to say out loud. Most people keep their dreams secret because they're afraid of judgment, afraid of failure, afraid someone will laugh at them. But the universe doesn't respond to silence. It responds to intention. Every time you say, "I can't," your mind closes. Every time you say, "I will," your mind opens. That's why ambitious people speak their vision boldly, because they're creating their reality with every word that leaves their mouth. You need to become hungry again, desperate, focused, laser-locked on the life you want. Hunger is the difference between wishing and winning. Hunger is what forces you to keep going when everything in your life says stop. The reason people fail is not because they lack potential. It's because they lack hunger. They're interested, not obsessed. They like their goals. They don't need their goals. But success requires needing it. Needing it so much that comfort feels like poison. Needing it so much that excuses feel like betrayal. needing it so much that your future becomes more real than your past. You must become the type of person who makes losing so hard that winning becomes easy. Not because life is easy, but because your systems are. Successful people don't rely on willpower. They structure their lives so strategically that failure requires effort. They remove distractions instead of fighting them. They eliminate temptations instead of resisting them. They create routines that force results. Because willpower is weak, but systems are strong. And every day you're listening to someone, a coach, a mentor, a critic, a hater, a friend. But the voice you listen to the most is your own. You hear yourself more than anyone else. And because of that, your entire life is shaped by whether you respect your own word. You don't build self-confidence with quotes. You build it with proof. Proof that you follow through. Proof that you do what you promise. Proof that your actions match your identity. One kept promise to yourself can change your day. 100 kept promises can change your life. Because the real battle isn't what people think about you. It's what you think about you. That's why champions win in silence long before they win in public. They grind when no one's watching. They improve when no one believes in them. They study when the world is sleeping. They train while everyone else is comfortable. Champions aren't created on the podium. They're created in the dark, in the quiet, in the moments where quitting would be easy, but continuing would change everything. And yes, life will test you. Life will break you. Life will take you to your knees. But heartbreak brings clarity. Pain removes illusions. Failure shakes off everything that wasn't real. The highest you fly, the deeper you may fall. But that fall is where you discover what was weighing you down. That fall is where you learn what truly matters. The fall is the beginning of the rise. And when you're alone, truly alone, with no noise, no distractions, no opinions, no validation, that's where you meet yourself. That's where you ask the questions you've been avoiding. Who am I becoming? What do I actually want? What pain have I been running from? What greatness have I been postponing? Silence is uncomfortable because silence is honest. And honesty is what most people avoid because honesty exposes the gap between who you are and who you could be. But that gap is not something to fear, it's something to bridge. And the only way to bridge it is action. Pure, unapologetic, relentless action. Every dream stays a dream until you attach a timeline and accountability. Someday is not a real day. One day is not a plan. If you don't execute, you don't evolve. If you don't act, you don't change. Action is the final filter. It decides who becomes and who only imagines. You can think, visualize, plan, dream, journal, manifest, but none of it matters until you move. Because life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond. You can't control the storm, but you can control the ship. You can't control the people, but you can control your standards. You can't control the past, but you can control the next step. And that next step, even the smallest one, is enough to shift your entire life. So write your vision. Keep it in your pocket. Remind yourself every day. Let your subconscious attach emotion to it. Let your emotions fuel your actions. Let your actions create your identity. And let your identity design your destiny. Never peak. Never settle. Never shrink yourself to fit into spaces you've outgrown. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your signal. Your imagination is not a joke, it's your preview. Your pain is not punishment, it's direction. And your life, your entire life, will change the second you realize you have the power to create it. So charge back. Life is charging at you every second. Charge back harder.